Welcome to the studio. We just had Scott Mullins in. You're going to hear a really good conversation. We hit the PFAS thing. We didn't spend too much time on it, but it's important stuff. It's November. Make sure to get out and vote. And make sure to move your Amazon Prime over to the, what's it called, Hoffman? Smile. Yep, Amazon Prime. Do the Smile thing. It helps everybody out. Scott Mullins is the president of the PFFPNC. Great guy. Welcome. How long you been in town?
Thank you. I just got in yesterday, right around 2 o'clock.
Nice.
Short trip.
Yeah.
And I got to head back. I don't know. Does noon, will that work?
Oh, yeah. Dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's no wrong answer around here, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a long ride.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get you on the road.
Cool.
Dude, what's up with this PFAS thing?
Where should we start? Well, PFAS is real.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to make a change is to sue the chemical companies. And so we've teamed up with the law office out of the Raleigh area that specializes in environmental law. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be filing a lawsuit against Chemours.
Yeah. We saw the post that we ended up resharing it. I can't remember the guy. Somebody did an interview with the lawyer, and he was saying, like, they've known this stuff for years and failed to tell us. That's negligent.
Yeah.
You can't just know these things. You know, I get like if something's harmful but nobody knows, you know, that's how we learn stuff. But once you know it and then you keep it secret.
For decades.
Yeah. I don't appreciate that.
No, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
And everybody should be. And we've lost so many firefighters because of PFAS. And they need to pay for it. They need to pay for the testing. Mm-hmm. And
I've noticed in the last, since we found out, we've been sharing just through conversations, a little bit of posts, but mainly like one-on-one. And people are desensitized to warnings. You know, everything you pick up, this probably says it causes cancer in California. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the people I tell, they just seem to like shrug it off like, oh, that's normal. It's not normal.
No.
Yeah. Have you found a good way to express the need to, hey, we need to not wear this stuff unless it's necessary until we get more information? That's been my pitch.
Yeah, that's mine too. And as soon as I found out, I sat down with our chief up in Asheville, and man, he was on it that night. He gave the green light for us to go get extrication gear. We're looking at containers for transporting our gear, so we don't have those fumes in the car. So yeah, we just need to tell a story, and a lot of firefighters don't know.
Yeah.
You would think that they do, but they don't.
Right.
And the more we can tell the story and get people involved, and that's how we're going to make a change.
Agreed.
I will tell you, I've been in conversation with some folks, one in particular who's been in this PFAS thing and on the front lines of that, battling for firemen. He's in Virginia. I'll mention his name after the show, see if you've heard of him. But he's going to come on the show. He's just waiting for next year. Apparently, there's a whole bunch of stuff going to come out after this year. A lot of studies that are going on at Harvard and Stanford and a bunch of other places. There's a lot of studies going on. So as soon as that stuff comes out and becomes public, then he's going to come on the show and talk about it. But dude, it's bad.
It is bad. It's real. And I've got a guy ready to come on your show, Elijah Yetter Bowman, and he's the guy who's making the documentary about it called Burn, and it's going to be a big deal.
Where's he from?
He's actually from this area.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And he moved away because the water's so bad.
Bro, that's a different story. It's kind of the same problem, but it's, yeah, we're surrounded here.
Switch that chair, please.
I know.
He's sinking.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, we got him. That's hilarious. We got Ben Bob with it.
He was like, "No, I'm good." I was like,
It's so slow that it just like,
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go,
Oh, I feel like a man now.
bro.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
I felt like you guys were messing with me.
yeah.
No, we
It was
weren't.
not intentional, but apparently it does leak down.
Yeah, I felt it happening.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so this particular gentleman, he's up there in Virginia, and I called him. When we posted when the news story that you did, when they posted that, we shared it, and then somebody contacted us through social and was like, "Hey, you need to talk to this dude." So we did. I called him, and I thought a 5-minute, 10-minute question of, "Hey, would you be interested in coming on the show and talking about it?" He had heard of our show before. Turned into like an hour and a half long thing of him kind of giving me this backstory, which was really cool. I was grateful that he was willing to open up and stuff like that. So there's a lot more going to be coming with it, and there's some shady shit.
Oh yeah, and Elijah is a badass. He's also a chemist, and the
That
way he
helps.
can break it down is amazing. And so he's telling the story of Diane Cotter, who started this whole thing on PFAS because her husband got diagnosed with cancer, and she sent it off and had some testing done, and in the middle of doing the testing, they stopped and they're like, "Holy shit, this is terrible. We need to stop what we're doing and just alarm everybody," and that's where we're at. It's been a couple years, but
What a no shit moment.
oh yeah,
Yeah. You said you guys are doing containers. That's a little alarming. So it's not just me putting it on and then it sharing to my skin or whatever. So if I just have it in my car, it's off-gassing and
yes, and so I know it makes you vibrate, my wife got diagnosed with a disease just a couple years ago, and I think it is because of that. Because I had a Jeep, and then I had a hatchback, and the nature of my company is I float around a lot more,
Yeah, I was
Right.
about to say, yeah, you're floating.
and so I had that gear in my car a lot. So I'm pissed.
so let's just start from the beginning of a shift. Right now, my gear's sitting in my locker. Do I need to be having it just contained, like put it in a, like when I'm not there, does it need to be in something that's sealed, or is the open air of a bay okay as far as, like I'm not trying to steer you here. I'm just trying to like, how can the firehouse work now? Do I need to be putting that stuff in at least a Tupperware container when I'm not there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that, but I would say that it shouldn't be in a room. It shouldn't like be in your workout room. A bay at least is big and
Right.
airy,
Some
but
open air.
if it's in a small space, I would say yeah, it probably should be.
Yeah. I can't stand the clean cab concept, but I didn't know about that. I didn't know about this. Like, now are we riding around with the gear in the cab? Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I'm even having this conversation, but is it harming me sitting just in front of me?
Who's to say it's not? And
we
I'm with
need
you
answers.
on the
Yeah.
clean cab
Yeah.
concept is just weird to me.
Right.
Showing up on scene and having to put your gear on, I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
There are hazards to the job, and we just need to do our best to minimize those hazards and those
Yeah.
exposures.
Well, let's slam on brakes a second. Can gear just go back to being made without injecting it with some?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. There are other chemicals that do the same thing, but
They're not as profitable.
they already have this, and they had no reason to change what they're doing.
Yeah.
From my education and the knowledge that I have, been just deep diving into it, it's an NFPA issue. The NFPA doesn't recognize any turnout gear made without PFAS. So, NFPA is our governing body, I guess you could say. Everything is NFPA 18 whatever, 19 whatever, 17 whatever. But turnout gear falls under that too. And if I'm not mistaken, there's no NFPA recognized turnout gear that doesn't have PFAS in it. So that's
Right.
where we're running into the roadblock, is that the NFPA, you know, whatever gear manufacturer might come out with something and say, okay, it's PFAS free, but it will not have the NFPA whatever. I feel really sad for not knowing the NFPA standard for turnout gear, but it won't have that in it.
Okay.
1971.
Maybe
That
that
sounds
sounds
right.
right.
Yeah.
Yep, that sounds right. So
Next stop, NFPA office. Like, hey, why are you mandating? They didn't know. I'm going to assume that they didn't know that this was, but now we all know. So
Yeah, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
Maybe.
yeah,
Maybe last time they met though they knew.
yeah. It's
Everybody
strange
knows
how-
now, so
Right.
let's get it right.
Yeah, the gig is up. Let's fix it.
Yeah, let's work on a phase out.
Yeah.
So I mean, we all know it's in all of our turnout gear right now. Nobody's making it, and nobody's making turnout gear that doesn't have PFAS in it.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a generalization, saying that everybody knows. I don't think, generally speaking, I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah. The information is available.
Yeah.
Is the point. So
Sure.
we're doing our part, making it public. So if you boil down the fire service, the end user is the family in the house that's the house is on fire, or the owner of the house that their stuff is about to burn up. They don't need to be suffering us running a clean cab or a delayed response because we're having to unpackage. It seems simple enough. Just make the product without the cancer-causing stuff in it.
Yeah,
Okay. I was just make sure that I wasn't overthinking that. Like, it's pretty simple, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay. All right. I feel better.
Yeah, but I guess in the conversations, and you'll as it comes out, as more stuff comes out, you'll figure it out. But it's never that easy. It's like, oh, well, here's a problem. Cool. Let's just make turnout gear without that in it.
Yeah.
And then you deep dive into where the money's going and who's doing the studies and all this kind of stuff. You start to learn that
There's thousands of dollars worth of turnout gear that's already purchased, ordered, on the trucks, and I'm sure that financial burden. But where's the balance? Like, all right, we got to save a couple of $1,000, so you're going to have cancer. Like, that can't be.
I can't have that.
yeah. I know it's
Yeah.
a big problem.
I'll say I'm happy to know that the PFFPNC is kind of, I'm not going to say spearheading it because it's not new. If you'll just do a simple Google search of firefighters and PFAS, you'll see it goes all the way back to the timeline that's associated with it goes all the way back to our foam, and it's been a problem for a long time. But now it's I guess here, I guess you could say. I'm proud to know that the PFFPNC is and the IAFF is taking a stand on it. That's makes my heart fuzzy.
General President Ed Kelly has been on it, and he's working hard to fix the problem. And yeah, here at the state level we are too. And let's start with some labels that go on the gear.
Right.
This gear has been known to cause cancer. That way, everybody will know.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Yeah, and it would help the conversation. So if I'm trying to explain to somebody, hey, don't sleep in your gear, this is why. And if there's nothing else to indicate but the label or just notices of some kind, you can't hide anymore.
That's right.
I don't want to make it a PFAS show by any means, but it's important. The biggest thing I see guys doing with their turnout gear, if you just scroll through social media, is working out and training. I mean, we do that all the time. I told Steve when this whole conversation after your interview and whatnot, I told him, I was like, dude, there's some days I get to work, like if it's cold and stuff and I got a weekly or we're degreasing the ladder or we got something lengthy outside, I was like, dude, I'll put on my bunker pants and won't come out of them until dinner time.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not trying to be Dennis Leary and rescue me or anything, but
Right.
but sometimes it just makes more sense. Or if we're cleaning ladders or, whatever the situation may be, or even working out. I mean, practice how you play, right? So,
That's right.
Work out. Then, there's videos right now on Primary Complete's social media of myself and our crew doing a bike workout in turnout gear, breathing air. And it's like, that's part of the culture. And if you'll scroll through social media, that's 9 out of 10.
It's the best part of the culture.
Yeah,
Like,
that's 9 out of 10 is dudes working out or training in their turnout gear.
Yeah, and then you have the races. Like,
right.
I mean, we have these turkey trots coming up. How many dudes are we going to see in their turnout gear running that race?
Yeah.
And the Tunnels to Towers was in Asheville not long ago. Great foundation. They do a lot of great things. And someone came to us and asked us for money to donate. And we did, but it did give me an opportunity to talk about how you don't have to run in your turnout gear to look really cool, I guess is why a lot of our guys do it.
That's 100% why we do it.
Yeah, go ahead and put a T-shirt on so everyone, the guys or girls or whatever you're trying to impress, know that you're a firefighter.
Right.
You don't have to run your turnout gear.
Yeah.
There's nothing cool about cancer.
No, there's not.
No, that's what I said. What I was mentioning, we were talking about how, everybody knows and stuff. I'm like, I don't really think that people know yet.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's, at least not here in our little ecosystem, I guess, what is North Carolina Fire Service, our little ecosystem. I don't think it's a thing. And just scrolling through social media, it doesn't look like it's a nationwide thing either. It just,
Right.
if guys knew that them working out and doing training in a cancer environment, which is what our turnout gear is now, apparently studies are showing, then I feel like you would see less of that, but you don't. So,
Pretty soon we're going to be seeing the commercials like the Camp Lejeune ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to be against PFAS, the chemical companies.
Yeah. I've heard that. It was specifically described to me as the 3M hearing protection thing. The military, you see that advertised all over the place, that PFAS could very well follow suit with that with firemen.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming. Mm-hmm. It's coming. And we're trying to get ahead of that actually on the state level. And we've partnered with Brian Bryce's law firm, and they're out of Raleigh, and they specialize in that type of litigation. And so we're trying to steer everyone in that direction.
The saddest response that I've gotten a few times, and I want to get your opinion on how to work around it, I think it's self-preservation. Like, you don't want to think, great, now I probably have cancer because I've been wearing gear for so long. So it's like a natural response to say, hey, if I've got it, I've already got it. So let's help the new people. It's not that way, is it? Like, if you stop now, at least you're forbidding the future exposure. Like, there's no reason to just keep wearing it because, if I've got it, I've got it. Like, just start now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like quitting smoking.
Right. Start now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And then I know New Hanover's working on scans for cancer screenings.
Right.
And we're doing them up in Asheville. We're going to do them December 8th, actually. We have 50 people signed up. They're ready to come out of their own pockets to pay $300 to have these ultrasounds done where they it's early detection. And so, that is the key, right?
Yeah.
Prevention, early detection.
Right. Yeah, I've done some homework naturally, and this whole like fatty liver condition that guys are getting, that could be tied back to it. Like, there's a lot of, it's not just one specific cancer. Like, there's a bunch of different problems that could be caused by it. So the scans and the detection, it's critical.
Yeah.
Don't avoid those.
Absolutely. So it's going to be great for us. And unfortunately, they're probably going to find someone with cancer. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, we just had another one of our members get diagnosed with cancer. He's got stomach cancer. We've lost 3 in the past 5 years to cancer. So, I mean, it's real. Mm-hmm. And people wonder why firefighters aren't applying in waves like they used to. We're seeing it now that the numbers are down, and retention is a problem in the fire service. Yeah.
I was telling Hoffman we might lose folks that were, on the fence of this career or that career, and now they're like, just wearing the uniform gives me cancer? No, I'll go build houses or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about, I've never really thought about it from that perspective when it comes to not only recruitment but retention as well. I just mentioned in our last show with Miss Leanne, that it seems like there's a lot of the older guys, the experienced folks are leaving, but I never thought that maybe this is just an opinion of a perspective, but maybe, as more of this information comes out as far as, what all is giving us cancer, basically just coming to work gives you cancer now. That's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
It is. And then with sleep deprivation and everything else, there's a problem in the fire service.
Yeah, I've talked to, even back when they were doing the big carcinogenic studies and all those kind of things. I was like, all this makes sense, but generally speaking, for the fire service, we're not necessarily setting ourselves up to combat foreign invaders like cancer anyway. I mean, you think about it, we're in a high level of stress all the time. Cortisol levels are spiked. We live in constant inflammation because we don't eat the greatest foods. We don't work out all the time. We drink a lot, guilty.
Yeah.
So, I mean, our bodies are like, we're basically just blank petri dishes that these things they just want to hop on because we're perfect. We're just sitting there and it's perfect. And it's been like that. I mean, that's part of the culture. That's part of what it is. It's just something else to add on to it. Just the more that this becomes public, I believe the harder it's going to be for us to not only retain, but then to recruit. It's hard to convince somebody, an ex-college soccer player or college baseball player, football player, whatever, collegiate athlete even, that our job suits them great because they're already into team sports. They're already into all this kind of stuff. But, it's hard to convince them that our job is that wonderful when it seems like the more things come out publicly, everything we do, is setting us up for failure in the long run.
Yeah.
And we're killing ourselves as departments. I mean, we're out there taking benefits away from people with their trade times, with time off, whatever. We're killing ourselves. Mm-hmm. And with lateral transfers now, it's a game changer. I think you're going to see firefighters moving from department to department if they get a small increase in money, or if trade time's easier at this one place, or maybe your department's doing vacation freezes. Like, what are we doing? Why are we doing that to ourselves? Yeah. Why are we taking benefits away?
Yeah,
those are the perks of this job.
Right?
Your time off, and the new generation really values their time off. So why are we doing this? This job's already hard enough with cancer and all the other stress levels that are increased and lack of sleep and everything else. And we're out here taking benefits away? Are you kidding me? It's stupid.
And the question of why, like, I joke that sometimes the logistics division, you ask for something, and it's like they're paying for it out of their own pocket. And I'm like, bro, the budget's there. We just need this. Why would a department strip away? Are they just trying to get more money for X? I don't know. Like, I don't get. I'm with you on the why. Why are we making it more difficult? We need to be improving the sales pitch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we're losing a bunch of people. We've lost about 8, I think, in the past month.
Yeah.
And they're going to other departments, or they're stepping away from the fire service. People are going where the pay's at, and better retirement. And so it is very concerning for North Carolina firefighters. We have to do better with retirement. We have to do better with all of our benefits. We're just going to be the training grounds for all the other states.
Yeah. And it's concerning at the end user level, like the owner of the home that's on fire. If the seasoned guys that know the district and know where the hydrants are, like the people that are the department, if they're leaving to go somewhere else, then you're losing that knowledge and that efficiency. Yeah, it's not helping anybody.
No,
that's my
it's
point.
Not.
Yeah.
No, and we have these Fight for 15 battles going on. And you guys had something similar down here. Like, are you serious? They can't even pay $15 an hour for people?
Right.
And there's places all over the state where they're just making over $10 an hour.
It's so ridiculous.
Hickory, we're looking at you.
Yeah.
These places, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Can you imagine? Like, I don't know. It's hard to figure out.
Yeah. So who's going to want to do this? Would you want your kids to do this job?
Mercy. Yeah, I have desires, but with all the new information, it's like, bro, go do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want it to come back. And it's not hard. It's not hard to fix, get rid of the chemicals in the gear, quit messing around with the benefits, and make the pay adequate.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's okay if we still have fun at work, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you're submitting people to all the, I don't know how to categorize it, but the shit, you know, the bad medical calls, the overdoses, all that stuff, let them have a couple of laughs back at the firehouse. You know what I mean? Like, there's a balance here, and it's not hurting anybody. It's not taking away from the budget for somebody to not have to be stressed out when they get back.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think my belief is the whole laughter and cutting up at the firehouse, that culture itself can be protected by the folks in the firehouse. And that's something that if a new person comes in and they have an issue with something that's going on, the line of communication between the folks in the firehouse and that person needs to be opened up enough to where they can speak about it. But to the same extent, we can't soften it too much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We can't soften ourselves and stoop to a level that makes us fearful of our job, and more importantly, not have the camaraderie within the firehouse, because that is what makes us so close and what makes it so special and what is attractive. We get cool gear, we get cool helmets, we drive big red trucks. They're louder, bigger, and prettier and more fun to look at than any cop car on planet Earth. And we're giant children at work. That's our gold star of recruitment.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to be a part of that? So if you begin softening and allowing the softening within the firehouse dynamic to change, if you allow that to soften to where we can't joke with each other, we're losing another star to recruit off of, because we're killing one of the biggest dynamics. I've been out since I haven't worked September or October, if you can't tell by my sweet facial hair.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So I've been off for a few months, and within 3 weeks, my wife was like, you need to go to work. Like, just go to the firehouse. You need to go see those people, and you need to be around those people. It's just a part of us. And
you're at home playing pranks on your wife, and
you don't even want to know. She's so tired of me that we've been married and together for almost 12 years now, and we've never spent this much time around each other ever. She's so tired of me.
Get out.
But even our companions pick up on that and notice that about us, and that's one of our biggest recruitment tools we have is can be a part of this. You see it in every video. Do you want to be a part of our team? Yeah. So let the softening in the firehouse keep ramping up, and you won't have a team. You'll have a group of individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll lose public trust. You go out, ask anybody on the street, if the house is on fire, what happens? Firefighters go in, they search the place, and they put the fire out. Like, any member of the public trusts and assumes that we're going to act and do our job. If you lose that by softening up, that's not good.
No.
Yeah.
No. And it is helpful when you can pick your crews too, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Free will at work.
And when that gets taken away, that's another issue.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I've sent him like dream crews pretty much every day. Like, man, imagine if we had this and this and that. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there was a time that the culture was that, like, when I was in the academy, everybody knew you wanted 18B shift because it was Captain Bob Zine, and the way he ran his shift, it was like everybody, all of us, all wanted that spot. Like that has to be preserved. That attitude, the culture of it. It's probably the best recruiting thing, like you're talking about, like keeping that gold star.
Yeah.
That's it. Like running an environment we do hero stuff. all the time.
That's great to hear about Ben.
Mm-hmm.
He is a good dude.
He's a real good dude.
I'd love to say he's one of a kind. There's bunches of people like Ben, but there's only one Ben.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. In the academy, it was 31. I was just thinking, I was like, 18 didn't sound right. It was 31 B shift, but they've changed our numbers, you know. But,
Gotcha.
Yeah, but then it was his rig, his environment, everything about it. Yeah.
I asked Ben Bob, when we had him in this show, that I asked him, and it seems like I do it with all the representatives from the PFFPNC or the IAFF. We've kind of capitalized on this cancer initiative, this cancer benefit. That's great. I understand it's a work in progress. It's a time-sensitive thing, and we got to get it put in legislation to be permanent. So, I find myself asking them, okay, well, we accomplished that. What's next? What's next? Just in our conversation right here, there's too many what's next to pick. How do you, in your position as president, how do you prioritize what could be next? We just threw so many examples of issues and problems that it's unreal. So how does the prioritization of issues, what makes something get pushed to the top and something say, okay, we can handle that, but right now it's just, there's other fish to fry.
We do have goals, and we travel around and we hear what other states are doing, and then we realize, oh wow, we need to be doing that too. Oh, they've got it great over here. We should be doing that. A lot of it is we go out and we test it out and see what the legislators have an appetite for.
Mm-hmm.
And almost everything costs money.
Of course.
But one thing that's really bad for North Carolina firefighters is our retirement. We need to get the multiplier up, and we need to get the years of service needed to retire down. And so our goal is 25-year retirement. And that's what we're going to be fighting for this session. And we had a meeting yesterday with a legislator from the area, Representative Carson Smith, former sheriff of Pender County. We had some great talks with him, and we're going to be seeing what kind of appetite's out there for the 25-year retirement. Because 30 years is way too long to be on this job.
Yeah, especially when your gear gives you cancer and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we want our folks to be able to retire with dignity.
Yeah.
And having to work 30 years, when you get done, I don't know, are you retiring with dignity if you can barely even move around?
Yeah, we don't need to beat the people that badly. Like 25 years is significant.
Yeah, and so we want to match what law enforcement has
Mm-hmm.
and get in the same system as them. And so that's going to be our big push. That and trying to get our Cancer Act funded permanently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which we're hearing good things on that. And, it's helped so many people, and the legislators have realized that. And I feel good about that, getting permanently funded. And so that'll be one of our other goals.
Yeah. We talked with Miss Leanne. She was on, she's running for county commissioner, and we were talking about the 25-year thing and the cost benefit. Like, it's not simply this thing we're asking for that costs a ton of money. Like, there is an actual financial benefit to it as well that helps to offset the cost of it. Like, there's a lot of different ways to look at that issue that aren't bad.
Absolutely.
As far as from a taxpayer standpoint.
And we've looked at retirement supplements like separation allowance, for
Right.
example, and we've crunched the numbers. And it's hard for the state to quantify that savings that you're talking about.
Right.
By getting the older folks out and bringing in newer people, and the impact that has on the workers' comp system, and just the pay.
Yeah.
If you replace a senior captain with a brand new lieutenant,
Yeah.
that's a lot cheaper for the city.
Yeah. A simple example that I've used before is the chances of somebody that's in that like 28th year coming off the rig and getting injured it has to be far higher than somebody that's in their 10th year getting off the rig and going to do the job. Like your rate or your risk of injury has got to go up with the years of service.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm out of line to assume that,
No, I think you're spot on.
Yeah. Yeah, that benefit, like the workers' comp benefit. I didn't think to word it that way, but that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so hopefully the legislators can see that savings.
Is that hard? Is that hard to like present that to them? It seems relatively black and white. You know what I'm saying? It's if you have data to back up your justification for something, it seems pretty black and white. Like, yeah, I mean, the data's right. That makes sense. Let's do it. I mean,
you would think it would be easy, but it's not always the case.
I'm sure.
I think the legislator has so many people coming at angles trying to get money for different projects and, parks. I don't know, but everybody's coming at them trying to get stuff. So you got to have your argument sharpened up. And then, they've made promises when they were running, like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. So it's a difficult process, but you seem really talented at making the sale. And it's not loaded with, we're not trying to sneak anything by. Like, these are pretty black and white, like you're saying. They're problems that are simple. It's just getting the ear to see it as not a Trojan horse. Like, we're not trying to bring in something just so we can, and we got you. We're just asking for legitimate things.
Yeah, and it's all about relationships. And if you have those relationships with the legislators, that helps. You want to be the person that they look to and they trust.
Mm-hmm.
And
Trust. Yeah.
If they trust you, then I think you're more likely to get them on board.
Yeah, with trust. They don't think you're doing the Trojan horse thing and trying to get one over on them.
Right. And I think that's the best way to tackle that issue with the 25-year retirement.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
God, we've hit some negative shit in the show.
I know. I'm sorry.
No,
it's not. It's not your fault. It's just that's fireman being fireman, there, brother.
Yeah. We had to hit the PFAS thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot more to come with that. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to beat the dead horse by any means.
Yeah.
So, what's next for Scott?
Oh, I don't know.
How many years in are you getting?
I'm on 16.
16?
Yeah.
Dude, you're a baby.
Well, yeah. I started somewhere else and then moved up.
Right.
And so.
And I'm assuming none of that transferred?
No.
Of course not. Yeah.
No, I was down in South Carolina.
Okay. So you got a lot of time left on the rig.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's why we need to get that 25 years.
You're your biggest advocate for that.
Absolutely.
I don't blame you. So yeah, we're the same amount of time in then. So that's pretty cool. Is there any organizational changes happening for the PFFPNC? Is everything kind of staying the way it is?
Yeah, as of right now. Yeah.
Okay.
All that I can talk about.
Cool.
You're hinting.
Well, I mean, one of our members has moved up into the IAFF.
Oh, dude, that's exciting.
Yeah.
When is that? I'm sure that'll come out public. We can talk about it later. That's fine. If we can't speak about it now, it's all good. That's exciting to know that somebody from or a person from little old North Carolina
is an assistant to the general president.
What?
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Very talented member up there. And I think it's a great pickup for the international, and it's a great thing for North Carolina firefighters.
That is cool.
I think it's amazing. That's neat. That's neat.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Mm-hmm. That tells me that on a national stage, North Carolina, the PFFPNC is we're doing stuff right here. Like, I mean,
they're paying attention, and I think we have a lot of upside here. We've got great potential, and so yeah, I think good things are coming. I think our benefits are going to get better. I think the job's going to get better. We just have to work at it.
Have you noticed membership? Is membership still on the rise pretty heavy, or is it kind of plateaued? Or
for the international, the international's still growing. and we've been adding members, but COVID messed us up because what we want to do is get out into the stations and talk to people and sell our product. But we picked up some new locals, but now it's time with the retirement push and some of these other things we're trying to do on the state level. It's time to boost that membership a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I've been talking with Ben Bob a lot about it. There's several little departments around still sprinkled about in our state that, God bless, they could benefit so much from joining and becoming their own local. And we spoke about it a bunch, that collective voice with some of the little small town bullshit politics that they're having to deal with, and the benefits from it. It's like, and you go speak to these people and they're like, yeah, hell yeah, we need to do that. And then it's crickets. Can you give me some advice, Steve some advice, and everybody else advice on how to, I'm not going to say close that deal, but maybe stress the importance and how to get that ball rolling. If I work in Podunk, whatever, Sampson County or whatever, and I'm like, yep, I need to start a local, and I have 6 friends and they're like, or 6 coworkers and they're like, yep, we need to start a local. How do you keep that fire burning to where it becomes actually a thing that's legitimate, like a local? It seems like it just dies. It's like ideas get presented, then they die.
Yeah, and both of our departments have good locals, and our density's high, and it's because we're selling a product that people want to buy. We're increasing your pay. We're fighting for your benefits, and we are doing all these things, and we let our people know that we're doing it. So the communication is key, but I guarantee every single department would benefit from having a local in it. That unified voice that's out there making these pushes, out there doing the work to improve the safety pay and benefits in a department. That's something everybody needs, and we do have those little departments where our members are battling, and some of them have lost their jobs doing it. And the internationals come in and fought and won cases, and people have gotten their jobs back, or we've settled lawsuits. That stuff's going on out there. We had a guy get fired for just communicating what his folks were doing on the job. He wasn't even doing it at work. It was just on social media saying, hey, we should get paid better. And I mean, it's crazy. You're going to fire a guy for that?
Yeah.
He has a constitutional right to talk about these things, and you fired him? So there's some really bad social media policies out there that need to get checked. And we won that case, and these cases go on all over the state all the time where people are fighting, but I don't know if that's good for organizing these guys getting fired. But we do have folks willing to do the job, and they're out there. But if you want better safety pay and benefits, you're going to have to get off your ass and fight for them. No one's going to give them to you. And so that's why these folks need to organize. And I think we do a good job of selling it when we're able to talk to people. And we just need to reach more folks.
There's a basic human instinct to get together, like tribes. Like if you go back in history, if you're working together to fight for something, you're going to be more successful than the single voices here and there. So it seems easy to me to see, but getting the message out is communication, like you said, getting everybody to realize that together we can be much stronger.
Absolutely. And I can think of a few departments right now that would benefit. And because, we do have some poor benefits in a lot of places. Yeah.
I'm a motives guy. I talk about it probably a little bit too much, but the motives are there to improve the benefits and the safety. We're making the department or making the fire service better. That's it. There's no secret behind it. So if you're joining, you're just joining to help make things better. It seems pretty easy,
Yeah, if not, then you're just, you're getting these benefits and you're not doing anything for them.
Yeah.
Do you want to be that guy?
Yeah, it feels a little weird.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there is there any new information or any new push on the mental health side of things coming from the PFFPNC?
Yeah,
it seems like it was a hot and heavy topic for a long time, and then now it seems like it's kind of plateaued and on the downswing. Which, as long as it's being affected, that's a good thing. As long as what we're doing is being effective, that's a good trend to see. But I would hate to know that it's just gotten lost in the weeds because the shiny pennies over here now.
Yeah, so mental health issues haven't gone away for firefighters, of course, and Greensboro is working on something with UNC Greensboro, and it's a program that's going to include the sheriff's office, the law enforcement, the county, the city police, and it's going to be a study that looks at mental health, and so we're making a big push to get funding for that, and that's going to be really helpful. So if we can show that there is an issue, then it'll be much easier to get funding.
Do you know any of the details of that study? Like what they're going to be studying? If you don't, that's fine. I've not heard of it. That's what I'm saying. So I'm curious.
Yeah, we were pushing in the short session a little bit, but it was kind of quiet. But it's we're going to ask for money from the North Carolina universities, and so it's hopefully going to come in the long session.
Interesting.
Yeah. Kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those topics I hate to see kind of get brushed into the weeds and forgot about, and nobody talking about it. So we did so good for so long, bringing light to this one specific issue that we can all help to better, that we actually can control to a certain extent, and I would hate to see that
and
go somewhere else.
Representative White has been a huge advocate for us on the state level. She's a nurse who's very passionate about this, and so it's gotten through the House twice, and it's just died in the Senate. So we will be pushing for that legislation again.
Nice.
Absolutely. I got a question the other day, and I didn't really have the greatest answer for it, but I had a question about how do members know what is going on, like for the PFFPNC. They're like, I'm a member, I pay my dues. How do I know what is happening? Like, I mean, I listen to your show, but y'all don't have it's not a weekly show on what the IAFF is doing or what the PFFPNC is doing. It's not a show. And I was like, well, most of us get emails, and they were like, I don't know that I've seen an email, or maybe it goes into my spam or something like that. But anyway, they didn't have like a flow of information about what is happening, and they seemed pretty discouraged about it. To pay money. If I pay money for cable TV, every time I cut my TV on, it's feedback. I pay for this, you give me this. And they seemed a little discouraged about it and a little turned off. So I tried to brighten that day a little bit.
Yeah.
But is there other places other than email chain, or like a manual? I have to go type it in, PFFPNC, in the Google search and figure out what's going on?
So email is good, and we have constant contact, so we know who opens and doesn't. And but we also do newsletters, and so our newsletters are really how we get the information out, and those come out every week, and they're on Facebook and on Twitter, and they go to your email. So that's how we push it out. And but yeah, every week we put out a newsletter.
Good. Yeah, I get them. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I asked that particular person, I was like, well, have you changed your email address? And it's just maybe not updated, so you're not getting emails because you switched your email accounts or something like that. And they were like, they I don't know. I thought they were kind of fishing for reasons to argue, but
yeah, that's weird. Firefighters. If they go to Facebook, PFFPNC's page, they show up there every week too, and follow us on Twitter as well.
Cool.
I know sometimes on social media, like you have to go to an account that you're wanting to follow and do like prioritize that account or refollow it. There's stuff happens. Algorithms kick different accounts off and make them more shiny or whatever. So if you're not getting the information, just visit the site, probably that alone, and make sure you're still following. That'll probably get it back in your algorithm.
Yeah, usually every Saturday that newsletter's coming out.
Cool.
Yeah,
and we've done that for every week for years. So that's where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's your hopes for the next little while with the PFFPNC?
Well, hopefully we'll get some of that legislation rolling and set some meetings up after the elections and find out who's going to be our sponsors for these bills, and then we'll get rolling in the long session.
Perfect.
Nice. When you put out those blasts, like, hey, call your senator, call whoever, does that work?
Do you mean, do people call, or does it work when
I pick up my phone and call and I just get like a voicemail and I leave a message? You think is it effective? In other words, like, when I see that post as just a member, I've done it sometimes, I've not done it sometimes. I wonder, like, could I call and it just goes to that little voicemail? Thanks for calling the office of whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like surely it helps, but I don't know.
I think it does. Yeah. I think that if a legislator hears from their constituent, I think that goes a lot farther than me.
Especially a group of them, like a whole bunch.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that does make a difference, and cool. It's someone from their community that's reaching out to them. Yeah. So yeah, I think it does matter.
Cool. Doesn't take much time.
No.
I wonder if that's something that you're trying to get ahead and trying to get these important things pushed through litigation, and you're trying to find bill sponsors and stuff like that for these things. I wonder if that's something that the membership can help with. Is once you find a sponsor, you're interested in a sponsor, you do just that. Put that in your newsletter, or send out a text or something like that. Hey, call this person
and ask them to co-sign.
There you go.
I mean, the co-sponsors make a big deal. If you have 60 co-sponsors on a piece of legislation with the primaries, I mean, that looks pretty strong.
For sure. Yeah, my thoughts have always been the same when it comes to it. It's just a lack of education. We'll do things, you're a fireman too. We'll do things even if we don't agree with them, if the reasoning and the reason for it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't have to agree with the way that you throw a ladder on the roof, but the end result is the ladder's on the roof, right? So I may not agree with the way the bill's going or the way the bill's being presented, but in the end, the bill makes a big difference. So educate the members on how they can help push that other than just with your dollars.
Right.
Call whoever and tell them, say, hey, it'd be super cool if you'd co-sponsor this bill. It'd look really good for us, that sort of thing.
It'd be really good for my family.
Yeah.
Maybe you see them at a Little League game or at your church or wherever. And, hey, by the way, this is coming.
Yeah, help us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say unless you're in it and you pay attention like we try to do, and I'm not the greatest at it by any means, but you don't even know that person's even thinking about being a co-sponsor for it or anything like that. You just don't know.
Yeah, and we've put out the call to say, hey, if you can make it to Raleigh, please travel in. And you guys have actually been awesome about it. And almost every time we've put out that need, New Hanover's come up and helped us. So, I mean, and that makes a big difference.
Cool.
Sweet. Where to from here, brother?
I don't know. For the show?
No. For you. So you back to work?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually out. I've been out for a couple days.
What'd you do this for? What'd you do?
Because I hurt my arm.
You hurt your arm?
Yeah, I'm waiting to see a specialist. So
what'd you do? Can't talk about it?
No, that's fine. No, it's
HIPAA. Yeah.
No, I just I don't know if I'm waiting to see a specialist to see what the injury actually is. So
right.
I don't know if it's a pulled muscle. I don't know if it's a tear. I don't know what it is. But
something.
When you're out there slaying the dragon.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. I fight what you fear.
When you're doing it.
Yeah. It's a pretty big time locomotive fire.
You sound a lot like me. I've been out too. I cut all 3 tendons in my ring finger, and it's not even like a cool story. And when I hurt my ankle, you remember I fell off the ladder during ladder training, and I was like, it'd be so awesome if I had like a dope story to go with it, but it's not.
Isn't that always how it goes?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's that whole getting older thing too.
Stop saying that.
I mean, 15 years ago, that probably wouldn't have even gotten hurt.
Right.
But it's hard on your body.
Yeah. It's a harsh reality I don't want to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Steve gets it though. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Well, and you still operate like you're in your 20s.
for sure.
And then think about it afterwards. Like, man, I used to be able to do that.
Yep. Man, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you guys.
Absolutely.
So you guys going to solve all the problems, get it fixed?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. We'll send you a copy at the end of it.
Yeah.
Of all the solutions.
The lateral thing that is a big deal. And I hear it from people in other states too. And so I do think that's something we're going to have to get creative on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to some people about, would it be great if we could just swap? Like, you get a new guy that's fresh out of rookie school and he wants to go up to Detroit and fight fires. So he goes up and works in Detroit, and Detroit sends a guy down here who wants to chill out at the beach. Like, why aren't we doing stuff like that?
Military does it all the time.
Yeah. And I mean, it's still your department paying. It's just like training leave.
Right.
And, I think we got to get creative with what we're doing.
Well, I got you for a few minutes. Let me get your opinion on something. You remember in the Blanchard show?
Oh, yeah.
He said I said military, and it sparked my memory. We discussed, or just kind of talked about it. I posed the idea to Steve and Chris while he was in here about why can't the fire service implement contract periods like the military does? Like every 5 years would probably make more sense for us than 4, because we don't really do anything on 4-year processes. It seems like it's always 5. Your personal time goes up after 5 years, then it goes up again after 10, 15, so on, so on, so on. Pay does that as well. 5 years just seems to be the number that the fire service likes to work off of. So what if you entered into a contract from 1 to 5 years, and during this contract you had a list of stipulations, you had a list of requirements, and then at the end of your 5 years, when your contract year was up, you go sit down with your battalion chief, officer, chief of the department, all this kind of stuff, and you renegotiate for the next 5 years. And it just continues like that. And if you know that your 10 to 15, your contract states that you have to promote to captain, you have to promote to whatever, it's in your contract, and that's just not something that's in your future, you have the option to leave. But it not be something bad, or you negotiate your pay based on that. You see what I'm saying? The military forces you to be successful. Otherwise, you don't work for them. That's just the way it is. If you don't promote throughout your years, you don't work for them. It's not a blemish. It's not anything bad. You just can't work for us anymore. You're not constantly getting better. That's just what we do here.
Right.
But the 10 and 15 year people who are burnt out and over it and not progressing, they're not studying their craft anymore. They're just couch potatoes who like to bitch about everything. It seems like it would give them a good opportunity to leave this aside and not be that person anymore, pursue a different career, whatever. But then the folks that are in it, like yourself and me and several more, it can also help propel your career further.
Or they re-engage.
Yeah, or they re-engage.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if we could have contracts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, North Carolina, it's illegal.
Sure.
So, I mean, the only one now since Virginia, it's no longer illegal in Virginia. But, yep, just North Carolina for us.
How about that? Huh.
So we're the last state? So it sounds like everybody else is already kind of doing this type of thing in some way, shape, fashion, or form.
Yeah, I mean, there's right to work, but then there's, we're different. We can't even have contracts. Public safety employees can't have contracts. So we're the only one.
So strange. Yeah.
Yeah, we went into that in quite a lot of detail. Folks can refer back to that show if they want to listen to it. But I was interested to get your opinion on it. If you thought that it would make sense or it would work, or basically to shoot holes in it. It sounds picture perfect and it sounds wonderful, but what's the problems?
Just for us, the first one is the contract thing. But
Right.
I mean, I don't know why. I do think we've got to change the way we do things, and any way to add benefits or pay or whatever seems like a good idea to me.
I like it.
Yeah, the definition of insanity.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows. Like, you can't just keep doing the same thing expecting different results. So,
that's right.
Yeah. Well,
Always do what you've always done and get what you've always got.
Yeah. That's a good one, too.
Well, Scott, brother, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for being generous with your time.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Always fun to come on the show.
Absolutely,
Nice.
brother.
Yeah.
You're welcome anytime.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Take care. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Do us a favor. Slide over to iTunes or Spotify or YouTube. Leave a 5-star review and leave a comment. If you want to support further, share it with somebody. Ask them to like, subscribe, and share it with their friends. If they can benefit from it, we need to spread it out. The more you like and comment, the more visible we are on all these platforms when people are just searching Firefighter Podcast. It'll come up Primary Complete a little bit quicker, and they won't have to dig quite so far to find us. We really appreciate that. Visit the website. It's a pretty good site. It's got all kinds of fun links and stuff. You can also find the shows there on the website as well, and that's www.primarycompletepodcast.com. Thank you all so much for your support. Again, we love you. Thank you for helping us make conversation great again.